Following the end of Angola's 27-year civil war in 2002, China stepped up as the sole supporter of the country's recovery efforts. While Western nations viewed Angola as a risky investment, China, in need of oil for its growing economy, saw promise in the oil-rich nation. They forged a partnership where China would provide infrastructure development in exchange for access to Angola's oil, dubbing the approach the Angola Model. This successful collaboration prompted China to extend similar partnerships to other African nations. Angola quickly became a focal point for Chinese investment, receiving a staggering $45 billion since 2002, primarily allocated to major infrastructure projects like airports, housing, roads, and the substantial Kekula-Kabaka hydropower station. However, Angola's heavy reliance on oil exports, with 70% of its oil shipped to China for debt repayments, left it vulnerable when global oil prices plummeted in 2024. This economic downturn pushed the nation into recession and sparked a debt crisis from which it is struggling to recover. Critics often speculate about China's motives in Africa, pointing to the debt burden many African nations carry to China. Yet, it's essential to recognize that China, like Angola, seeks mutual benefit from its investments. As a result, accusations of ulterior motives fail to grasp the complexities of international relations and economic realities. Amidst the mounting debt crisis faced by African nations vis-a-vis China, it's crucial to grasp the underlying dynamics. The debt burden isn't a result of malicious intent from China, but rather stems from African countries' heavy reliance on primary commodities like oil. Fluctuations in global market prices for these commodities often leave nations struggling to generate revenue, hindering their ability to repay debts. In the case of Angola, the aftermath of declining oil prices prompted a cautious approach from China regarding further lending. Understandably, China hesitated to extend loans to a nation facing challenges in repayment. Additionally, factors such as the COVID-19 pandemic and China's strained relations with the West led to a decrease in Chinese loans to Angola. This created a void in Angola's financial landscape, sparking interest from other global players, notably the United States. In a move signaling a potential shift in alliances, the U.S. pledged over $2 billion in investment in Angola, positioning itself as an alternative to China. President Joe Biden highlighted commitments to fund various infrastructure projects, including solar power, bridges, and internet connectivity. Furthermore, the U.S., in collaboration with the European Union, unveiled plans for ambitious infrastructure projects such as an 800-kilometer rail line between Angola and Zambia. This initiative aims to facilitate the extraction of critical minerals like cobalt and copper from the Democratic Republic of Congo and Zambia, vital for the global transition to green energy, including the burgeoning electric car industry. As geopolitical dynamics evolve, the scramble for influence in Africa intensifies, with Angola emerging as a focal point for strategic investments and alliances. President Joe Biden's endorsement of the rail line's significance in Africa signifies a pivotal moment in the continent's infrastructure development. This ambitious project promises not only to bolster economic growth, but also to create enduring opportunities for employment and market expansion. However, amid the fanfare surrounding this initiative, lingering concerns emerge regarding the intentions of the United States and its Western counterparts. In stark contrast to China's approach, which prioritizes mutual benefit in its partnerships, the U.S. investment in Angola appears to be motivated by a desire to counterbalance China's growing influence in the region. This strategic move aligns with the broader objectives of the Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment, an initiative spearheaded by the G7 nations. The aim of this initiative, launched in 2022, is to pool resources amounting to $600 billion by 2027, strategically aimed at rivaling China's expansive Belt and Road Initiative. Essentially, President Biden's administration views Angola as a crucial battleground in its efforts to curtail Chinese dominance across Africa. This viewpoint underscores the escalating geopolitical competition for influence and access to vital resources on the continent. However, such intentions prompt scrutiny regarding whether the US and its Western allies seek to perpetuate a cycle of dependency among African nations. In contrast to China's investment practices, which often come with few strings attached, the US investment in Angola seems contingent upon exclusivity. This implies that the United States may seek to establish itself as the primary partner, potentially monopolizing access to Angola's resources and infrastructure development. Moreover, it's evident that alongside this financial investment, the US is likely to exert influence beyond the realm of infrastructure, extending into the political landscape of Angola and possibly other African nations. Once again, the scrutiny falls upon the United States. Can its intentions truly be trusted? Angola's decision to open its doors to US investment was born out of a pressing need to steer its economy away from over-reliance on oil. With China's lending to Angola coming to a halt, the US perceived an opportunity to assert its influence and potentially displace China's dominant position in the country. However, recent developments have dealt a significant blow to US aspirations in Angola. The African nation has opted to reignite its partnership with China, reshaping the geopolitical dynamics in the region. Unlike previous engagements primarily centered on oil, China is now pivoting towards aiding Angola in diversifying its economy away from oil dependency. Chinese President Xi Jinping's unveiling of plans to support Chinese investment in Angola's agriculture and manufacturing sectors represents a strategic shift. This initiative aims to propel Angola towards agricultural modernization, industrialization, and economic diversification, tapping into the nation's abundant reserves of base metals and agricultural resources, which its oil wealth had long overshadowed. President Jinping's announcement came during the visit of Angolan President João Lourenço to Beijing's Great Hall of the People, coinciding with Angola's withdrawal from OPEC. This pivotal moment marked a reinvigoration of bilateral relations between the two nations, elevating them to the level of a comprehensive strategic cooperative partnership, paving the way for enhanced trade and investment cooperation. In contrast to the U.S. agenda of countering China's influence, China's motives are clear: to bolster the Angolan economy and enable it to repay its substantial $21 billion debt, a rationale grounded in practicality and mutual benefit. While the U.S. injected $1 billion into Angola in December 2023, China solidified its commitment through an investment protection agreement and a landmark pact ensuring tariff-free access to China's extensive consumer market for 98% of Angolan goods. These recent developments underscore a shifting landscape in Angola's economic and geopolitical spheres, where strategic partnerships and investments play a pivotal role in shaping its future trajectory. The United States' efforts to counter China's influence in Angola and across Africa have suffered a setback with the emergence of China's new approach, dubbed the Hunan Model. This innovative strategy, not limited to Angola but extending to other African nations, represents a paradigm shift in China's vision for Africa's development, aligning with its ambitious goals for cooperation by 2035. Unlike the previous Angola model, the Hunan model emphasizes a multifaceted approach to China-Africa cooperation, encompassing medical collaboration, poverty alleviation, agricultural advancement, digital innovation, and environmental sustainability. Implementation of these objectives is facilitated through initiatives such as the China-Africa Economic and Trade Expo and a designated pilot zone for in-depth economic and trade cooperation, both anchored in China's Hunan province. Central to the Hunan model is the promotion of agriculture, heavy industry equipment, and transportation infrastructure, including electric vehicles and railways. Efforts also focus on enhancing trade efficiency between African countries and China by establishing new trade routes via rail, river, air, and sea, strengthening connectivity between Hunan and African nations. Additionally, initiatives are underway to address challenges related to foreign exchange access and promote the use of local currencies in trade transactions. By shifting away from reliance on the dollar, which exerts significant pressure on local currencies and undermines local economies, the Hunan model aims to bolster currency stability and foster economic growth. While the implications of the Hunan agenda will vary across African countries and evolve over time, it presents a compelling alternative to Western agendas for Africa's development. As this transformative approach takes shape, it prompts reflection on its potential impact and invites further discussion on the future trajectory of China-Africa relations. Did you love this video? Be sure to hit that like button and let us know your thoughts in the comments section below.